Hi and welcome to the second to last fight in Black Temple. This is the Illidari Council. Again, I'm doing this on retail and I'm doing this solo, so there are some things that I can't show you. I can't show you how the pull exactly will be done and how we'll place them, but I've tried to do it with some raid markers. So before we go into the positioning, we'll just go through the different ads here. So Gathios the Shatterer. This guy is basically a paladin, and he's the one that will be mainly focusing on DPSing. The rest of the ads will be handled in a different manner. Gathios will be tanked over here on the side. His most important mechanic, I suppose, is Consecration, which we'll just need to step out of. Other than that, he also does Seal of Command, Seal of Blood, and Judgment of Blood, Judgment of Command. These can be Judgment of Command can be spell reflected and should be. Judgment of Blood can't. So we'll have a warrior tank, probably Hase, tanking Gathios just for the spell reflect. Gives a massive amount of threat, so we should never have to worry about threat on Gathios. Other than that, he'll also do Blessing of Spell Warding, that grants immunity to magic for 15 seconds. Is cast on one of the other bosses, is typically Malande. On Malande, sadly. And he'll also do Blessing of Protection, just like you know from Paladins. Immunity to physical damage, again, also cast on one of the other bosses, typically Malande. It shares cooldown with Blessing of Spell Warding, so it'll be one of the two. He also has something called Chromatic Resistance Aura, that every 30 seconds he buffs their resistance by 250, screws over all the casters. Or he'll do Devotion Aura, and he screws over all the melee. But yeah, that's basically Gathios. Seeing as Malande has been mentioned a bit, we'll go through her. Malande will be tanked back here, and she'll be tanked together with a tank, a physical interrupt, and a magical interrupt. The reason for the two interrupters is that we have both Blessing of Protection and Blessing of Spell Warding to worry about. If Blessing of Protection is put on, you cannot use Kick or Pummel. So you will have to use a spell interrupt, such as Spell or Counterspell or Earth Shock to interrupt them. Malande is just a healer. She's a classic priest, just like her outfit shows. She's in Priest Tier 6. She does Smite, it's not reflectable. She does Divine Wrath, which is like a big holy damage dot. Don't interrupt that. She does Reflective Shield that absorbs about 25k physical and or magical damage. And when you hit the shield, half of the damage absorbed is reflected back to you. It doesn't protect her against kicks and pummels, it's just pure damage shield. The shield isn't a big thing, but her big thing is Circle of Healing. It's a 2.5 second cast, and it fills the shared health pool by 100,000. Now, the reason why I say shared health pool is that these bosses all have the same amount of health. If you hit one, you deal damage to all of them. So this is very similar to hiking Mulgar, except that these bosses actually share health pool in the fight. There's no big bad in this. It's just these 4 advisors. Now, the third one that we have to watch out for will be Varus Dark Shadow. Varus is a rogue, and he only has like 3 mechanics. Deadly Poison, just like you know from rogues. Damage attack the stacks. He can be tanked, so this will usually just be on a tank. The poison cannot be removed by Cleanse Poison. He'll also do Envenom, which removes the Deadly Poison debuff and does around 6k poison nature damage, roughly. The last ability that he has is Vanish, same as the rogue ability. He'll vanish on the battlefield, and then after 30 seconds, he'll pop up and he'll hit a random raid member and focus them. He'll hit them 5 times and then do Envenom, and then he can be threatened again. So the tank who tanks Varus has to like follow him around whenever he's like open. It's a good idea to keep Varus close to where Gathios is, just so that we can cleave off him a little bit. It's not super essential, and as long as he's controlled, everything is good. The last one, High Nethermancer Ceravor, is very much like Crossfire Hand and needs to be mage tanked. This is probably the hardest part of the fight and the most volatile, just like with Mulgar, just because mages are squishy by nature. And instead of a spell shield this time, you need to spell steal Dampen Magic, which reduces damage taken by 75%, and healing by 500. Not 500%, just 500. So we'll have a mage pull this, or misdirected onto, or we'll do a pally style pull where we immune the mage, let him go in. The mage will be stood over here, just so the higher Nethermancer is out of the way. You'll have a healer with you, and you'll just DPS that fight. The main thing here isn't to like pump as hard as you can. You won't be competing with anyone on threat. The most important thing is spell stealing, dampen magic, so you don't die. Nethermancer will do Blizzard around the room, which is annoying. He'll also do Flame Strike. Again, it's annoying. Just step out of it. And he'll do Arcane Explosion around him, so melee stay away from him. This is also why he's pulled away, because Consecrate is quite large, so we'll need a large area to kite Gathios and Ceravor, or Vera, sorry, around here on the right-hand side. You can also kite these close to Malande. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's just nice having her sort of away, just to not have to deal with Divine Wrath. Other than that, Ceravor does Arcane Bolts, which hurt like hell, and if you don't have Dampen Magic on, you will die within seconds. It's a good idea still to use Stamina Food. Again, this is not a DPS race for you who are tanking. This is just stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. There's no point using Resistance Gear, there's no point using Protection Potions or anything. You will never have enough, and as long as you have Dampen Magic on yourself, it shouldn't really be an issue. Yeah. So this is like just a hard pull. We'll try and use as many hunters to pull as possible. But I'll go up, I'll engage it. So see how many of these things you can see. Gathios also has a Hammer of Justice, obviously, just because he's a paladin, so he's just annoying. Sorry, paladins. But yeah, so we'll pull these over here. As you see, Ceravor is moved slowly. These are the effects you want to step out of. It's Blizzard and Flame Strike. It's Consecrate on the floor. Move away. Again, move away. Graphics are a bit different on retail. As you can see now, Varus has disappeared. He's just vanished. And this is just what you do. You just kite him around over here. Move out of spells. When Judgment goes up, tank has to figure out which one is currently is it Blood or is it Command. And yeah, just kill boss. Get it, really. Big kill for Malande. And yeah, once you kill these, next up is Illidan.